Hello, Poke people, and welcome to another episode of Chu News. My name is Dee Brady. As always, with me is my co-host.
Teichichu.
And today on Chu News, we're going to be talking about the raid battles, as always, along with some new merch news and some new anime news. So let's get it started with that raid news, though. This past weekend was the 7-star Decidueye raids. I hope everyone had fun in those. They were honestly a bit more challenging than I was expecting, but I mean, most 7-star raids are. I was able to get a Decidueye, but it was not for lack of trying. I definitely had to go maybe 5 or 6 rounds before I actually got mine. And I was using several different electric types. But this weekend we have Blissey coming up, which is very interesting. And Tay's going to touch on it here in just a second. But according to several Pokemon news sources, when you beat Blissey this time, you'll have a chance to get rare items as well as double EXP candies, which I'm very excited for. If that's true, I will turn into a Blissey bounty hunter. That way I can farm all of the EXP candies.
You guys have heard of
It's
Dog the Bounty Hunter. D is Dog the Blissey Hunter.
yes. I do like Blissey, but there's a reason people use it for EXP training. There's a
You're not
reason people
wrong.
do that.
You're not wrong. I will say though, I am a bit surprised that it's Blissey and not a more spring Pokemon because the spring equinox was just yesterday.
True.
So I was thinking, maybe not Sunflora, but like I don't Vileplume or like a planty Pokemon because right now this is where people are starting to plant plants. Granted, here in New
Hmm.
York, we just literally it was snowing 2 days ago, and now we're in sunshine and there's no snow on the ground. But it's just very weird to me for like just Blissey. Like even for like say Mother's Day, like I'd expect a Blissey, but
Yeah.
it's an odd Pokemon for the spring equinox.
Yeah, you would think Blissey would be saved for either like Easter or
Easter.
Mother's Day,
Mm-hmm.
one of those two, for those who celebrate Easter. Um, but yeah, so we've got Blissey coming up with the chance to get those rare items as well as possible double EXP candy.
You should have said a
I'm very
Chansey
excited.
with
A
a
Chansey,
Chansey.
there's a Chansey you can get. There's a Chansey you can get double EXP candy.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. But until then, I'm going to toss it over to Tay for some merch news, and she is very excited to talk about all of this.
Oh my goodness. So, if you've been following us for the past 7 episodes, you will know I have been a crying baby over the big,
She has.
yes, the big starter Pokemon of Quaxley, Sprigatito, and Fuecoco. Finally, finally, the day that we upload our podcast, Pokemon Center went, we've heard enough. And they finally put them in stock on the Pokemon Center website for the United States. They retail for $49.99. You already know I got that Fuecoco like that. He's about this big. You guys will see it next podcast, but because of cats, I can't really leave my room. But he's about this big. He's a good size, and he's fantastic and soft. The only part I don't like is the part of his head is like a cardboard, and I'm just not a fan of that type of fabric because I'm very feely type of person. But
Mhm.
regardless of the fact, very well made, very cute, and also a part of the Pokemon Center newest releases. They made the graduation Pikachu 2023. They made the little figurines. They made the pins, a notebook. They made a bullet journal actually with the graduation Pikachu on it. They have a mug that looks kind of like a knockoff Yeti, a diploma frame, all that good jazz. Which I do have the 2020 Pikachu graduation pin that my teacher gave me. That I did
I
independent study
um
for.
I have the 2019 graduation Pikachu for when I graduated college. And
My great aunt got me this, and she put a mask on it because I graduated during
oh
COVID. That's so
yeah,
funny.
I graduated the December before COVID hit.
Let's be happy it did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and then there's some trading card sets. There's the new Crown Zenith tin in both Galarian Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos. If you're a big old card collector.
Now, Tay, how are they? Are the big starters sold out?
Nope,
If so, how quickly did they sell out?
they are not sold out yet.
Oh, they were anticipating this. They were
Well,
anticipating.
here's the thing. You make people wait for something for so long, and people all of a sudden don't really want it as much as they thought they would want it. Which was almost the case with me, because I was waiting to buy Fuecoco. Because Fuecoco is my favorite starter, and I'm trying to do this thing where I don't just buy things. I just kind of, whatever I really want, I'm going to get. And because I have such an abundance of plushes. And so in my head, I was like, well, if I'm going to get a Fuecoco, I want it to be big Fuecoco, so it'll be worth my money. And it is, in my opinion, but you make these people wait so long for merchandise that it's like they don't have the want that they when it was originally the design was first released. They don't want it as much anymore, so they are like, I would rather save my money.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am right now because, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not big versions of the Hoenn starters.
Which one?
Torchic, Trico, and Mudkip.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah,
I
if they
figured
had
that was
big
it, but
versions,
my mind is blanking.
yeah, if they had big versions of the Hoenn starters, because as many of you know, I am a Hoenn baby. I would be copping Torchic so quickly because Torchic is my forever starter.
I'm pretty sure they only have a sleeping mudkip, like a big sleeping mudkip, and I don't even know if that's on the Pokemon Center website right now. But that's the only. I mean, Torchic
Yeah,
and Trico are kind of left in the dust Pokemon plush wise.
unfortunately, because Mudkip became just such a great meme.
Yeah, they make big Pokemon of like they didn't do each starter, but they started doing big ones of like when Pokemon Legends Arceus came out, they did big
Mm-hmm.
Oshawott, Cyndaquil, and
Rowlet.
yes, that one. Or I don't know if they actually did big Rowlet. I know they did Oshawott and
I'd
Cyndaquil.
honestly I'd be kind of surprised because Rowlet is a fan favorite among
Yes,
Pokemon fans.
but I don't. I will check. But I know I copped a Cyndaquil because Cyndaquil personally is my favorite starter. But I will look right now, and I will toss it back to you in the meantime.
Yay! So we're now going to talk about a little bit about the anime. So as we all know, unfortunately, this week is Ash Ketchum's final episode.
Bum bum bum.
I'm very happy that I just happened to have the day off from work because I am going to be an emotional wreck. I am going to be crying. I am going to be in mourning. A part of my childhood is going to be dying. And yes, I know I am an almost 27-year-old man, but still,
It be that way.
it'd be that way. But we got new information about some characters in the anime. The trainer with the Cerulege appears to be a member of a new kind of extra mystery explorers group in the anime because we got two new characters revealed. They look, if we're going off of context of the designs, they look kind of antagonistic, kind of an edgier version of Team Rocket, like in Unova when the first few episodes, the first like couple of arcs when Team Rocket was actually like good at their job. And they yeah, they were actually like semi decent at their job.
Hit
And they
news.
were like actually evil. But these people have there's a female trainer who's got a Golduck and a male trainer who has a Rhydon. Two very random Pokemon, I know.
Well,
And I was wondering myself, I was like, why? Why?
why
Why?
them?
Why them? Yeah. Why? But we will find out as the anime progresses. Like I said, that anime is slated to premiere April 14th in Japan. So it doesn't have a release date in the US just yet because they still have to obviously
Sub
dub
slash
over
dub.
all sub slash dub everything. Well, it'll be subbed and it'll air here in the US subbed, but we have to wait a bit for the dubbed version.
I'll watch subbed. I don't mind watching subbed.
I don't mind watching subbed as just because it gets me more hyped for the dub.
Hmm.
Because then I can be like, oh, I know what's going on, and I can kind of more passively watch it.
Understandable. Understandable.
Or pay attention more and be like, oh, I didn't catch this during the first watch through because
XYZ.
I was trying to read XYZ or I was trying to read so much.
I didn't have my reading glasses.
I didn't have my reading glasses, but thankfully, because of my job, I do read fairly quickly.
Feel that. Sometimes too fast.
Sometimes too fast. But with that, that wraps up our news segment. When we come back, we are going to start a discussion topic that one of the people that I follow on TikTok actually posed the question. And it's how expensive is it for UVA or Naranja Academy to provide a starter for every single student?
Find out now.
Welcome back, everybody. So now is our discussion portion. And actually, this question kind of comes from someone that I follow on YouTube, on TikTok. Some of you may know Jaden Animations. I was watching her playthrough of Violet, and she brought up a pretty interesting question that I never really thought of myself. For professors, and more specifically, like Uva Nanahana Academy, how expensive is it for them to provide a starter Pokemon for every single student or every single trainer? With the professors, I can kind of see them getting like grants and stuff from the Pokemon government. So it's not or the Pokemon League. So it's not as expensive for the professors, but the schools, I do know schools can be tax exempt, but we're operating under the guise of Pokemon economy operates as our economy. And so, how do you pay for all of these starter Pokemon? And plus, if you read in the text, which I know Tay didn't, I know she didn't because she matches through the dialogue. I'm a reader.
Alright, let's get through this. We're going.
Professor Clavel or Dr. Clavel mentions to Nimona whenever she asks if she can take the opposite starter to yours. He asks, didn't you receive a Pokemon when you entered the academy? So we're operating under the assumption of one, everyone gets a Pokemon when they enroll in the academy, and two, they're one of the generic water, fire, grass starters. What determines that you get the water, fire, grass starter and not, say, like a Pommy or the regional bird? What do you think, Tay?
Maybe, because now this might make sense. What if the reason that there's not starters in the wild is because they're all gathered up to go to these schools, right? And that's why they're not getting regional birds and stuff like that, because they still need Pokemon to populate the wild in certain areas and to make sure that things are certain levels. How they do it, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Not a part of the question. But the thing is...
Well, that's kind of answered semi in the anime, and I'll talk about it here in just a second.
But, so, in my head, the way that... For expenses-wise, I would say that they're probably fairly cheap if everyone gets to pick. And they probably get sold in wholesale. So it's like the Costco of Pokemon with the government. They just kind of get them up. They're like, hey, take them. Buy 5 for 5. Not exactly that, but, you know, they're probably in an abundance because you see them rather frequently.
Yeah. I know, at least in the anime, in the Hoenn region, there are specific breeders for the starter Pokemon, like we see when Brock gets his Mudkip, that there's a special like breeding facility for Mudkip. Granted, Brock's Mudkip was still a wild one, so that one we don't know where it came from. But at least for Pokemon League, Pokemon Professor purposes, they've got breeding facilities there. So does the Academy have a deal with like Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxley breeders also? Like, I know this is an age-old question and probably one for another episode, but what determines the starter for the specific region? Like,
Probably if the
that's
Pokemon thrives there, right?
yeah, but theoretically, like in Galar, Leon had a Charizard as his first Pokemon.
That's a good question.
Yeah, so that's a question for another episode. But definitely, I think, yeah, there's got to be some sort of like deal with a breeder and
the Costco
something,
breeders.
the Costco of breeders, like supply and demand. But definitely, like we were saying, Nimona got a Pokemon. It didn't specify that it was a starter because she doesn't have two starters. She doesn't have two Sprigatititos, two Quaxleys, two Fuecocos. We see the only other Pokemon aside from the team that she battles us with, that we see her with, is a Paldean Tauros.
Yes.
And so we're thinking, did she get the Paldean Tauros as her unofficial starter Pokemon? If so, why is it not on our team? So many questions arise, but what determines that the students get to choose from the fire, water, grass? Is it, do the parents of the student have to donate a lot of money to basically get a wing named after them? Or is it based on their grades? Probably that, because it doesn't look like when we moved there, we're living large.
Or is it a part of the tuition when you go to school?
It could be a part of the tuition.
Like
you decide, do you want...
Not that you're getting
do you want a regular... Yeah. Well, I mean, we're making sandwiches, and some of these ingredients are kind of questionable.
Where's this jam from?
But it could be like on the tuition, be like, hey, I want my kid to pick from fire, water, grass, or one of these other types.
Mm-hmm. All has to do with, even in Pokemon, capitalism remains, the middle class slashed, the gap keeps getting bigger. I'll stop now.
Oh, goodness.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think the best thing is the tuition, or most palatable.
Plausible.
You could have used palatable. Malleable.
You could have used palatable. No, those mean
palatable
different things.
A word?
Palatable.
Anyway, go on with what you were gonna say before my English broke me.
Say that's pretty much our discussion portion of the episode. Let us know in the comments below how you think these starters are decided and how you think the school is able to get some of them. When we come back, it is everyone's favorite time, the silly little question portion of the episode.
Yeehaw.
And now it is time for everyone's favorite portion of the podcast, the silly little question.
Silly little question.
Tay, what is our silly little question?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. It is, what Pokemon would win in an eating contest if it was all of them? And for this, I'm going to eat this lovely, delectable Pokemon candy. D, we can start with you.
I was to say, obviously people are thinking Snorlax and Munchlax as like the top two because they're known for eating a lot. I'm gonna say, yeah, they're a top contender.
I'm listening.
What does it taste like?
I don't know. Red?
Red? Oh, okay.
Try and mix with
Anyway,
something.
I'm gonna say Snorlax and Munchlax are big contenders, but I would argue, and this is kind of based a little bit on the anime, so it's kind of biased. Squovit and Greedent.
Mm.
Like I'm not like I'm unlike anime in the plot armor
Mhm.
as Tay's camera malfunctions.
Mhm.
Unlike anime in the plot armor, I think it would be more of a neck and neck fight between the two. I don't think that it would be kind of as close of a call. But also, and I don't think that Morpeko would make it that far just because, yeah, Morpeko eats a lot, but it's got a limit. And yes, Team Rocket essentially starved their Morpeko to try and win the contest, but that still backfired on them.
As it should have.
Yeah, as it should have. James, take better care of your Morpeko.
Take care of your Marpecos, kids.
Yes. But I'm gonna honestly say probably just because of the name alone, Munchlax would probably win in an eating contest. Like I think it would do better than Snorlax. Like yes, Snorlax is bigger, but bigger doesn't always mean it's better. And I know that's very controversial coming from a Texan.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna do it.
Do it.
That's what she said. My age just reverted back to 5 years.
Way to go. Way to go. But yeah, so Munchlax is my answer.
So, here's the thing, right? I hate Greedent. I'm just putting that out there. When I see a
Tell me how
Greedent,
you really feel.
I will. I hate that Pokemon. It's on my top 10 hated Pokemon list because it's just a squirrel, and I hate playing against it in Pokemon Unite because if it's on my team, I lose, but if I'm against it, I also lose. So I hate that Pokemon. It's awful. Very rarely do I enjoy it. Going past the point. We're over it. I had to get that out. Um, I think we're really looking over a Pokemon that eats a lot that you don't really think of when you think of eating contest, only because you think so much of Snorlax and Munchlax. And that is Licky and Lickitung. Licky Licky and Lickitung. Those those
Yeah,
Pokemon are literally made to eat.
they are. And if you think about it, whenever Jessie caught her Lickitung, she caught it after it ate all of their food.
Yes, and it constantly would eat their food. Constantly.
As much as I love Wobbuffet, I am still upset at how Lickitung was kind of written out of the anime.
Well, well, he did his best.
Yeah.
Ate too much food. And that's okay. And that's why I think he would eat an eating contest. That's why I think he would win an eating contest is cuz he has such a big tongue. He would just consume it all at once. So there's really no competition. Like you can only scarf down so much. He'll just be swoop in his tummy it
Well, I
goes.
mean, yes, but in an eating contest, after you clear a plate, that doesn't mean you win. They'll just give you more food.
Yeah, then he'll just keep eating. And he'll do it the fastest. When they run out of food, inevitably, he'll be the winner.
I
Snorlax,
would like
after
to
you eat
see,
too much, he'll sleep.
yeah, I would like to see an episode of. I know we had an episode of the anime that was dedicated to an eating contest, but like I said, that had plot armor and was the reason. Like the plot armor was just so Go could win. But I very much would like to see a team eating contest between Munchlax and Snorlax versus Lickitung and Licky Licky.
Heck yeah. I agree. Didn't.
I agree, didn't.
All with the Pokemon puns today. Killing it.
You really are. But that is it for our silly question. I know this was a bit shorter than some of ours have been in the past, but let us know in the comments below who you think would win in an eating contest. What Pokemon do you think would win?
Let us know.
We'll do a quick wrap up when we come back. Thank you, everybody, for watching our episode. That is it for us today. But before we wrap up, just some quick final notes. Again, remember, this week is Blissey, where you will have a Chansey to get double EXP candies, as well as some possible rare items. And then the following week is the second round of the Decidueye 7-star raids. Also, let us know if you are excited for the new anime coming up. Let us know if you're going to be watching Ash's final episode, or if, like for me, you're going to be crying. Tay, any final merch notes?
I guess the only thing that we're really looking forward to now is the black and white sitting cuties. Gen 5.
Awesome. And watch that drop immediately after this episode is uploaded.
How exciting.
How exciting. But until next time, guys, make sure when you choose your news, choose Chu News. Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.